Okay, welcome back. Today I'm joined once again by Attorney Matthew Underwood from Madison. Matt, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me today, Tom.
And today's topic deals with trust accounting. So we're coming to you live from the set of the office here, and it's only a shame we couldn't get Angela or Oscar to join us for this question, but instead we're gonna have to handle it ourselves, Matt.
Yeah, we'll do the best we can without having the Dunder Mifflin accounting team helping out. So, but we'll try to handle this one.
But trust accounting is a tricky area, so strap in, and here's the question. The writer asks, it comes from Bay City, Wisconsin, and the writer asks the following. As one of the beneficiaries of an irrevocable trust, can I ask for an accounting of the trust checking account? I believe the trustee is using money from the trust for personal enrichment. For example, new kitchen cupboards. I would like to see the transactions of the checking account.
Yeah, this is a really good question, and in my practice and probably in yours too, Tom, this is an issue that comes up all the time. And I think when we have beneficiaries that feel like they're being left out, or that beneficiaries feel like they're not being told everything that's going on, I think this is exactly what happens, where there's some mistrust that starts to build, and now beneficiaries aren't even sure if the trustee is doing the right thing. So the good thing is that the law did contemplate this, and this isn't a new situation. I mean, there's court cases going back decades, probably hundreds of years, about these very sorts of things. So under Wisconsin law, beneficiaries can actually ask for information from the trustee, and that would include an accounting of that checking account or any sort of bank accounts that might be in the trust. So under Wisconsin law, trustees have a duty to keep the beneficiaries reasonably informed about the administration of the trust, and at least annually, that trustee needs to send a report of the trust property, and that includes receipts and disbursements, and also a list of trust assets and their values. So I think this question gets right to it, where yes, the trustee not only has a duty to carry out those trust instructions, but the trustee needs to be providing information to those beneficiaries. So if it turns out, a lot of times beneficiaries will ask for information and the trustees won't provide anything, that's a reason to get your attorney involved and force that trustee to turn over some of those records that you're looking for and verify that the trustee is doing the right thing. And if it turns out that you review the information and you find out trustee was stealing from the trust, buying, things that benefit them and not the beneficiaries, that's a breach of that trustee's duty. And I think that's a reason to actually look into removing that trustee and having another trustee come on board who is not going to be doing some of those things. So if you do feel like you're not receiving information, or if you feel like you have some information but you're starting to see some things that are wrong, reach out to your attorney and start working with that trustee and make sure things are being done right. And again, this is one of those areas where you don't want to let it go too long. So if a trust has been open for 2 years, and for 2 years you had suspicions that things weren't going right, it's sometimes harder to go back and fix those mistakes or those things that went wrong. So it's good to catch these early and to basically let the trustee know that, hey, we're keeping an eye on things, and trustee can't start doing things that they shouldn't be doing because we're keeping an eye and making sure they're doing things right. Tom, do you have any thoughts on what you would suggest, or what you tell a beneficiary in a situation like this?
I think that's spot on, Matt, and those duties to report are included in the new Wisconsin Trust Code. We still call it the new Wisconsin Trust Code. It was adopted went into effect July 1, 2014, but in the trust world, it's relatively new. And so I think when they drafted the new trust code, part of the uniform trust code, that was the thinking, is provide some checks and balances on that trustee by doing this annual reporting to the beneficiaries. So we're answering this question in 2020, so it's likely you're falling under that new Wisconsin trust code, but I would say when you go sit down with Matt or another attorney or estate planning attorney, bring a copy of the trust along, because there are some dates. If the trust was formed before, created before, and it was irrevocable before July 2014, it's possible it doesn't fall under those reporting requirements. But the trust itself may provide a reporting requirement in it, and a lot of them do. So I would just bring that copy of the trust along, because your lawyer's going to want to look at it either way when determining, when you tell them the facts of this situation, try to figure out the best way to go about seeing what this trustee is up to. Because as Matt mentioned and what you are mentioning, it sounds suspicious. So definitely you want to get that accounting to determine what's going on before you look at any further steps.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's a good point, Tom, is there might be different rules depending that live in different places. So example, Tom mentioned the trust code, which is Wisconsin law, that has some rules for the trustee to follow, but that actual trust document might have some additional rules for that trustee to follow. So trustee might have to be, following not only Wisconsin law, but also the rules that that grantor set up in that trust. So I think you're exactly right. Bring a copy of that trust to your attorney, and if you did not receive a copy of that trust, again, that's something that the trustee will have to provide.
Well, great. Thank you to the writer for that question about trust accounting. Matt, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, always great to be here, Tom.
And thank you to the viewers for watching, and we'll see you next time.